So there are four things that an American business owner wants, but I don't think they understand what they really want because no one's probably visited with them the way I'm getting ready to visit with you right now. So I've got two audiences that I'm aiming this video for. Those that are trying to do business with American small business owners. So that might be offshore, might be a CPA, a US CPA off in another country, but probably you as a small business owner. What are your thoughts on these four things? So I've written them down. You want to make more money. You really only look at your bank activity to know what your numbers are. You don't want to pay any taxes. And you typically are feeling like your accountant is not proactive with you. So in terms of making more money, really what you don't want to focus in on, which most small business owners focus in on the gross. What I want you to focus in on is the net, because that's where the money is coming home. That's where the rubber meets the road. Many small business owners, they're doing things, makes sense, but to bring more in on the top line without really paying attention to the cost of goods sold, that direct cost. Direct cost is what kills small businesses. They bring in a bunch up top, but they're not paying attention to the direct costs, meaning if you got a sale, what is actually going to be the exact direct cost related to that sale. Rent is not a direct cost. You just got it. Paying somebody to answer the phone, not a direct cost. What would be a direct cost? Well, we did a service and I had to pay this employee that dollar to then make a dollar. Or I had to buy this product to sell that product. That's a direct expense. That's your cost of goods sold. Then you got your fixed costs. So you've got to make sure that when you're doing a new product line or the way you're pricing is that you've got the right gross profit margin. Gross, what you're coming in, minus direct equals your gross profit. Now you got your fixed costs, but you want to focus in on the net. And that's where really working with clients, thousands of small business owners, makes sense. But I get my clients focused in on the net. Next, looking at bank activity. I get it. My clients over the years would say, oh, I know what's coming in. I know what's going out. I've got it. I said, okay, great. But here's the thing. A profit and loss is just taking your banking activity and putting it into categories so that you can really see, well, what money's coming in, what money's going out in category. But it's just your banking activity. There's a balance sheet for assets and liabilities and cash and how much draw or distributions you're pulling out for yourself. But for most small businesses, money in is income, money going out is an expense. That P&L is putting it in a category. But I will tell you this, the most important report that you should be looking at and asking for, because every single set of financials has behind it what's called the general ledger. You need to look at the general ledger. There's no way that it's confusing, even though when I sit with clients, like, I don't understand what this means, and it's only because they're looking at a lot of pages. A general ledger is in the order of your financials, typically in the order of cash and assets and liabilities and draws. Get past that because now you're going to see the detail of your income. You want to see that on a P&L that shows you brought in $10,000. Well, what transactions made up the $10,000? Why? Well, maybe there's a loan in there. It shouldn't be in gross receipts. Or maybe you put money in there. Shouldn't be in gross receipts. Or it was a refund, right? You need to make sure that what's in your gross income is actually income looking at the general ledger. So it's going to show you each deposit that then adds up to your gross receipts that's on your P&L. And then after that, it's just all the expenses. It's going to be in the same order as your P&L. So if you're looking at advertising, you go, well, we spent about $5,000 on advertising. Okay, that's about 50% of what we brought in. That seems high. Now, why did we spend that? Well, that general ledger is going to show you, oh, okay, so we paid this, equaling that dollar amount. Interesting. Okay, I didn't know we were spending that much. And who's this and who's that? And now you're interested. So you really want to ensure that you're looking at a general ledger, because now, again, it's taking your bank activity. You've got it in categories, but now you're seeing the detail to those categories. Every single one of my clients gets that. The third thing is they say, well, I don't want to pay any taxes. But the reality is this. If you aren't paying taxes, you're not making money. Is that really what you went into business to do? Now, I get it. Like, oh, what I want to make sure I'm writing off everything I can. Absolutely. But here's the thing, small business owners. You are writing off everything you can. Coming up with deductions to save taxes is hitting a hammer on your head, because you got to spend $1 to save, what, 20 cents, 25 cents, 37 cents? You had to spend $1. $1 went to something, and you sent, yes, less to taxes, but you still spent $1. What you really want to do is plan for your taxes, so then you know how to strategize. What's planning? Well, if I bring in this, my direct costs are this, my fixed cost is this, I've got net income of this, that is going to equate to this much tax. How do I need to save for that? As I'm making money, what percentage do I need to set aside? Plan for it. Planning is, well, based on that, here's my tax. Strategy is, well, do I want to do anything about it? Can I, should I, do I need to? What would be the case when we're now talking about planning that's now into strategies? Well, if somebody's saying, wow, that's a lot of tax, what else could I do? It's like, well, what else do you need to do? Because you can do all kinds of things. Just start spending money. Get the checkbook out, borrow it, get the credit card, and just buy endless supplies. Pay rent for the next year. Pay out 100,000 bonus to all your employees, and spend and spend and spend and spend. And I guarantee you spend it all, you're probably not going to pay any taxes. Woohoo! Got one heck of a tax preparer. Now you're broke, right? That's not what you want. Strategy would be, well, what do I need to do? So I'm talking to clients like, well, hey, do you need any new equipment? Is the equipment you have old and maybe isn't able to produce as much? Do you need another staff? Do you need more whatever to then do what? Make more money. See, go back to the first line item. It's not just about bringing in gross. It's what's the direct costs, but are there costs that you could spend that cause the gross to go up, to then more proportionately cause your net to go up? So it's not about paying no taxes, okay? Yeah, listen to TikTok, you're not going to pay any taxes, whatever. That means you've borrowed a lot of money and you've spent all your money. Awesome, now you're famous on TikTok because you don't pay any taxes, and that's what the rich do. Small business owners, the rich pay taxes, and no, they don't. Well, it's probably because they're hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars into debt that then gave them write-offs that they got to pay the debt off later, and now they're broke and they're bankrupt later. While in the meantime, they're excited they didn't pay any taxes. The fourth thing, though, is what we hear is for small business owners, it's like, well, I don't have anybody proactive. Time out. Time out. Here's the deal. We do systematically get in touch with our clients. Okay, I got a tax consulting group. So if you've got somebody that you are working with and you're not getting any feedback, I got 2 suggestions for you. One, call them, say, I want to spend more money with you. I want to sit down with you. But number 2, you could, if you just don't have that or whatever the case is, look at my tax consulting group. Got a link below. It's a group of small business owners and tax professionals. It's a limited group. By the time you watch this, might not even be still open. All that to say, you've got to be more interested. You have to be proactive. And when I'm talking with people that will come to us and they say, hey, I'm leaving my accountant. And I say, well, why? And they're like, well, they don't ever call me. They don't ever have any ideas. I say, okay, real quick. When's the last time your dentist called you? Like your dentist, not the dentist office, but your dentist called you and said, hey, just want to check in. Are you flossing? Now, are you doing that morning and night? Because you know that if you are flossing, that's going to give you better tooth care. Right now, what kind of toothbrush? Have you replaced the toothbrush? Now, how are your teeth feeling? Maybe you should come in. We don't ever do that. I mean, pick another industry that you go, well, they need to be more interested in me. No one should be more interested in your business and your numbers than you, right? Makes sense. Why don't I ever get any ideas? They're not proactive. I guarantee if you follow up with them, you get in front of them, they will be proactive because they need information to be proactive. If you're just sitting on your hands and you don't have any information that you're giving to them, or you say, well, they see the numbers all the time. Well, do they? Then say, well, if you're seeing all the numbers all the time and I'm paying you to see the numbers all the time, then let's sit down and look at these numbers and tell me what they mean. What's the plan? How can we strategize? Where are we at? Let's get going. What's my net? So someone just running your numbers to put on a tax return, congratulations, you paid somebody to run a bunch of numbers and put on a tax return, while over here you thought, well, I'm bringing in the gross while you're not netting income. You think you're knowing what your numbers are because you only look at bank activity. You don't really know what's going on in your business other than what happened in the last 24 hours. Thinking, well, I got a good one if I pay no taxes, when in reality that either means you're in a lot of debt or you're not making any money because you're spending too much. That's where you have to be proactive. You're the one that goes to the doctor. You're the one that goes and buys shoes. You don't have the shoe dealership call and say, hey, do you guys need some more shoes? You don't have the grocery store saying, hey, you hadn't been in a while. Do you want to come? We got some oranges here. You probably should be drinking these waters. You have got to be more active. Well, I don't have time. Well, I don't know what to do for you, because you will you will overpay your taxes. You will not be prepared. You'll not net what you can because you won't understand your numbers. And all that to be said is that to put this all together, boom, into a punch, you want to be the one asking the questions, because when my clients come to me and they start saying, what else can I do? I start asking questions. What do you need to do? When do you need to do it? How much would that cost? Do you need to do it right now? What else do you need to do? And should we do that now? What's your income going to be for the rest of the year? What are your thoughts? Are you going to be doing raises? There's now a bunch of questions that I'm going to ask with my client, because I could sit down with my client and just say, hey, I don't know who you are. So come on and sit down. What kind of business do you got? Oh, okay. Well, yeah, why don't you go and spend some money go to the store, buy some supplies, buy some stamps, go buy some new phones, get new computers. You know what? Go ahead and get that SUV. Oh yeah, you want to know how to save money? Okay, so write a check for this and then prepay your rent, do bonuses at year end. Okay, all I'm doing is saying spending money blindly. I don't even know. Like, do you have any money? Do you have any borrowing power? Should you pay employees? Should you get any postage? You actually mail anything? I mean, like, you can look at a list and go, hey, here's things we need to do. And we do send a list to our clients and just say, hey, here's ideas. But what you really want to be is interested. And for those that are trying to do business with American small businesses, here's what they think they want because they haven't had anybody tell them, here's actually what you want. So if you can provide that, getting a better net, showing them their numbers, showing how to plan and strategize for their taxes, and then asking the right questions so that you can give the right answer, that is how now you put together a rock solid relationship with a small business owner and their accountant in coming together to do what you're paying that accountant to do. So you haven't heard from them in a while, send them an email. And if you want to get their attention, say this in the regarding line. I need to spend more money with you. How much can I spend with you? And then when you meet with them, boom, you go from there. And if they're not doing that, find somebody new. Can't find anybody new, but you need help, check out my tax consulting group. All right, hey, thanks for tuning in. I'd love it if you'd subscribe. And then don't you ever forget, you've never met anybody quite like you. You've never met a small business owner quite like you. And you've never met a CPA quite like me. You have a great one.